Hey everybody, it's Christopher Small with CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning, we do probate, we do it well. Today, I want to talk to you about what happens to your Bitcoin after you die. And it's actually a pretty interesting topic. If you're a geeky estate planning attorney like I am, and if you own Bitcoin, it's probably a pretty interesting topic. But and to be honest with you, it's something I hadn't thought a lot about until today. I had a potential client meeting with a lovely couple, and they asked me, so like, hey, what happens? They're like, first, Bitcoin? I'm like, yeah, I know Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin. I own Bitcoin, by the way, not a whole one. I think I own like 0.0375 Bitcoins or Bitcoin. So there. But I do own some, so I kind of understand how it works and how the account structure works and things like that. To be serious for a second. But by the way, if you have more questions about this or anything else, and you want to talk more, please go to estatemeeting.com. You can set up a time to talk with me over the phone or in person for free, estatemeeting.com. Okay, back to the Bitcoin. So he asked me like, hey, so what happens to this Bitcoin when you die? Like, how do you set it up? We're talking about trust, we're talking about other stuff. And I was like, that's a really good question. I'm not completely sure. And the reason for that is that Bitcoin is super interesting, right? Everybody talks about it like it's a currency. It's got a daily value, like gold, right? It goes up and down. Sometimes significantly up and down, even in a day, even in an hour. But I guess it's also kind of like corn, right? Because it's treated like a commodity, which can also go up and down over time. And the government, the federal government, actually treats it more like a commodity than a currency. And that's very, very important because commodities or goods, at least, you have to pay capital gains taxes on the gains that you acquire, sort of as that asset grows. Which means if you bought Bitcoin for $100 and now it's worth $1,000 and you're super rich, when you go to sell that Bitcoin, you are going to have to pay capital gains tax on that appreciation. Okay, if you just sell it today. Now, that's important to know because it will come into play as we talk about this other stuff. So the other thing that I found out, which was super interesting and makes sense, sort of. I didn't do caveat. I just did research on my own account, not on. I didn't do them on all of the other sort of cryptocurrency exchanges or account services out there. But I use Coinbase, which I think is a pretty popular Bitcoin repository. And I just searched like, hey, can you do a beneficiary designation on a cryptocurrency account? And at least with Coinbase, you can't. What they tell you is you're going to have to use your will, which is a bummer. Okay, because if you do that, then you're going to have to open a probate to then go in and transfer those coins, at least legally, right? I don't know if you want to do it in some other way. With my attorney hat on, though, I'm telling you, you should go through the formal process of doing that for accounting purposes and many other purposes. Okay, but you can't do that. You can't transfer that property without going through probate. Which means, by the way, to take it one step further, if you want to avoid probate and you have Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency, it's probably going to behoove you to create a trust and then create an account or add to that account as a joint account holder on your trust. Because then when you die, that your trust will become the sole holder of that account. You don't need to go through probate to transfer it. You don't need to do anything else. But it's not as simple as designating a beneficiary like it is with your other accounts because they don't allow for that. The other thing that was interesting is that although they don't allow for you to have a beneficiary designation, they do operate under sort of the digital currency statutes and laws of the federal government and state governments, which means if you have a power of attorney, okay, you are alive and you want to utilize some of these Bitcoin and something happens to you, you want to make sure that your digital assets are covered inside of your power of attorney. Thankfully, for our power of attorney, my power of attorney that I do for my clients, it is covered. This is one of those reasons. So when it comes to Bitcoin, Here's the other important thing to consider too. All right, last thing, and I know I'm jumping around here a little bit, but this stuff is interesting. That's what happens when you get excited. Jump around. But because Bitcoin is treated like a good or a commodity, if you have a lot of it and you don't need to use it, and you are okay with the risk of the volatility of the pricing, you may want to just hold on to that and then transfer that to your beneficiary, to your people when you die. The reason for that is that you're going to get a step up in basis on that. If it operates just like other goods and services, other things that you own, when you die, you get a step up in basis. So for example, if you bought that Bitcoin at $100 and now it's $1,000 and you die and you give it to your kids, for example, they're going to take it at that $1,000 valuation, which means they don't have to pay any tax on that $900 gain per Bitcoin, which could be significant for some of you. If you got in the game at the right time, I know you exist out there. You could be doing very well for yourself off of Bitcoin, and you may want to just hold on to it and transfer it to your people when you die. Okay, that's it. Okay, short and sweet on Bitcoin and estate planning. There's a lot more I'm sure to discuss. If you have additional questions about this or anything else, please go to estatemeeting.com. You can set up a time to talk to me over the phone or in person for free. estatemeeting.com. You can also, by the way, comment and ask me more questions. I would love to talk about this stuff more. So if you're watching this on Facebook, leave me a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, leave me a comment. You can do whatever you want. Okay? But in those places in particular, you can comment. So do it. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you know somebody that has a bunch of Bitcoin and you want to teach them about this stuff and you want to look cool, then share this video with them because they need to hear it. All right? That is it. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. And can't wait to come on here and talk about some more fun stuff. See you.